Well, absolutely, Poonam. In the morning, we actually went to the nearby areas, the Bela Road areas, or the famous Swami Narayan temple, which is actually quite close to Chief Minister's residence in civil lines. And in fact, now the water has receded to the levels the water is approximately 100 to 150 meters away from Chief Minister's residence. But interestingly, the terrain where the Chief Minister's residence is actually placed is a little bit higher. So we expect that the water will not reach at that point if the water starts subsiding in some time, or if the water remains constant. But it's a shocker. It's an absolutely shocker and failure of the civic authorities as well, because they know these situations were being made, and in fact these situations were cooking for quite some time now, and this has not happened. These are not flash floods which has happened in the national capital. The water levels were increasing slowly and steadily, and in fact now we are seeing these sorts of flooding in the national capital. Well, also we need to understand when these sorts of situation arises, two main things to understand is that first, the water gets into the low-lying areas. That is ought to happen because it's just adjacent to the river, and the second is the drainage system. In fact, now as we know that Delhi is completely built on concrete, and that is the reason there is no way for the water to go, and in fact the drainage system has become a big question mark of the drainage system of the national capital has become a big question mark, because you have to also understand every time there were monsoons in the maximum city Mumbai, there were questions on the drainage system there. But now with this sort of rains, and in fact this sort of rains in the upper catchment regions, now we are witnessing similar situation here in the national capital, and a lot of questions will be asked to all the civic authorities, be it the MCD, NDMC, PWD, and all the authorities working in the national capital, as to what were you doing from so many years. And in fact, you talked about Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal's residence, but earlier also we visited some areas in the Lutyens zone, and in fact from Mathura Road we got you a report where in fact the minister in question, Atishi's residence, was also flooded with water, and that was because of the rain water, and this is the flood water which we are showing you. So now the government has also need to answer a lot of questions, and in fact both the state government and the central government will be in the eye of the storm as to why this has happened to the national capital, and why this situation has arisen as to when the people of Delhi are forced to actually walk on their feet, and in fact not only on their feet, but in fact they're forced to leave their goods behind, because we have seen a lot of areas like Yamuna Bazaar where people were staying in the low catchment areas, and they have to leave a lot of goods behind just to actually save their lives. There are boats which are running in these areas, there are streamers which are running in these areas, and this is what the national capital right now looks like. In fact, this raises a lot of questions on the authorities as well, because now the questions have to be asked to the people who have been elected by the people as to why national capital is looking something like this. Yes, these are the unprecedented situations. Yes, these water levels are being witnessed for the very first time in the last 4 to 5 decades, but still, was it something which could have been done by the government to actually make this situation a little bit better, or was the government or the civic bodies they had a laxative approach to this entire situation? They thought that these water levels cannot be reached because rains were not there, but now when Delhi is witnessing such floodings, now there is an accountability, there is a question which needs to be asked. And in fact, if we talk about the water levels of Yamuna, they are constantly on an upward trend. Till now, we haven't got that information that the waters have started to subside, and in fact, is there any sort of downward trend? Though we have been given to understand is that a lot of people are saying, and in fact, a lot of officials are maintaining that the downward trend will begin in some time from now. In fact, yesterday also, we spoke to the IMD officials where they maintained that now there will be no rains in the national capital till today, but tomorrow some rains have been predicted, because this is the southwest monsoon we are talking about in the national capital. And in fact, till now, with heavy rains in national capital and across the northern region of India, that indicates only one thing, that the active presence of southwest monsoon. So if it rains again in the national capital, then yet again it will become headache for the people and for the authorities as well. Back to you.